We're back at it, guys. Man, I just wanted to really talk about what's going on with Bitcoin, man. Like, Bitcoin right now, I think it's around 71,000, right? Bitcoin can catch a break, and you look at the market continues to go higher, man. The market just continues to go higher. It's kind of crazy. But I wanted to give my thesis on what's going on in the market and why I believe the biggest reason why we haven't seen Bitcoin perform better, it's because of the momentum, the historical momentum in AI. And, the market just continues to go up higher. And the main driver is, AI. Like, it's these AI stocks. And, those are the biggest drivers. You do have some, Max 7 stocks that are participating. You have your Google, you have your Apple, but, Microsoft, Meta, Nvidia is kind of doing pretty well as well. But you do have some laggers in the Max 7. And, the market has been carried pretty hard by AI stocks. And I believe that's one of the biggest reasons why we are not seeing the recovery for Bitcoin. Like in my previous video, I talked about my thesis of Bitcoin recovering in roughly 100 and something days. And I might be, it look like I might be wrong with that. But the reason why I'm wrong, I believe, is because of this momentum in AI. Right? So right now, what we're looking at is basically, Bitcoin is basically in a war with AI. And I say that because, we all understand that crypto assets is more of a retail investor type of game, right? When you look at the filings of Robinhood, Webull, other platforms that show you like insight of who's actually buying, you see that there's like more buying on there's more buying on the retail side than the institution side. I do have a thesis that, institutions will start to invest more into Bitcoin, and that would definitely help the price of Bitcoin get back to all-time highs and even go higher. But right now, we have AI. Everybody's putting their money into AI. Like look at Oracle. Oracle went from 300 to 140, I think, and now they're back at 250. Microsoft, you have MU. And a lot of these stocks, Marvell, like a lot of these stocks are up, excluding Oracle, Microsoft. But when you look at the AI stocks, the Broadcom, Google, the winners, Amazon, Marvell, the memory stocks, some of these stocks are up anywhere from 40 to 200% on the year. And to be honest, if you're an investor and you're looking to risk your money, like what better risk are there not in these AI stocks? I just looked at it because I think in one of my videos I talked about MU after its earnings, I thought it was a 10% pullback. I was wrong. It was a 30% pullback. But if you have bought into that 30% pullback, and that's kind of crazy to say to buy back into a 30% pullback, but individual stocks do that a lot. It went from 30% from that moment, it's up, I think, 100 or close to 200%, right? Now it's $1 trillion company, and it's incredible, right? The investors who are willing to risk their money, and we do understand that Bitcoin is a risky asset, are putting all their money into AI stocks, right? That's why you could see Bitcoin is just failing to struggle, and I believe that they're going to be under pressure for quite some time because of the momentum, the historical momentum in AI stocks. And to be honest, I did come out with my video talking about my bear thesis and why I believe the market will drop 20%. But like I said, I could completely be wrong with that, and we could see these AI stocks continue to jump higher. It's a historical momentum that we're seeing. We're seeing great companies. We're seeing companies that we never thought would hit $1 trillion. We see companies that are very close to being $1 trillion company, and we're seeing institutions be more aggressive investing into AI stocks. The risk is on, and unfortunately, Bitcoin is not participating in that. Then we have these massive IPOs come in. You got SpaceX, Anthropic, OpenAI, potentially the end of this year, and those are gonna get a lot of money too. So when if you do believe in a rotation, and there is a rotation of capital that happens in the market, sometimes it goes to gold, sometimes it goes into healthcare, sometimes it goes into tech. But right now, the money's going into AI stocks. We basically, for my thesis in Bitcoin to come back to being something that could really be possible is, we'll have to see some of my thesis in my bear thesis. And if you haven't watched that video, go watch it. But we would have to see, these AI stocks, kind of not perform, and, not fail, but, hit a wall, with this, because it's kind of crazy. You look at these earnings, they're just going crazy, right? So we need to see some weakness in these AI stocks, so we could see that that rotation go into potentially Bitcoin, because there's no guarantee that it'll go into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is another risky asset, and if the market is risk off, we could potentially see Bitcoin maybe drop even more, maybe drop from its high 70%, right? And the dangerous part about this is that the Bitcoin, it kind of moves very aligned with the market now. It doesn't move by itself. Right now it's lagging, and based off of my thesis, that's why I believe it's lagging. But the biggest problem is if we do go into that bear market, right? Let's say we do go into that bear market, what's going to happen with Bitcoin? Bitcoin might drop even more. So maybe there's a more clearer thesis on a bear thesis on Bitcoin. But if we could potentially see some slowdown into AI, not too bad, maybe like a little correction, a 10-20% drop for the stocks, the individual stocks, and they don't cause the market to crash, maybe potentially we could see some rotation go into Bitcoin. But that's a hard sell, because how far can this this historical momentum go? We're only 2 years in, maybe 3, and these stocks are continuing to hit, and they're projected to grow a lot faster. So that's kind of like what's going on with Bitcoin. So the question is how long is this bull run for these AI stocks are going to continue, right? And then we have to hope that when the market does pull back, these AI stocks, it's a healthy pullback, and not a reevaluation of these companies that causes the market to crash, because it'll just cause Bitcoin to crash as well. So as an investor in Bitcoin, you have two options. You could wait for that 70% drop, because Bitcoin hasn't really dropped 70% that much, and you could take that as a potential buying opportunity. Or you could buy now when nobody's interested in jumping into Bitcoin, and wait for that rotation to come. That might not come for a few years, because we got AI is just on this historical run. How far can this market continue to push, right? So guys, that's my thesis on what's going on with Bitcoin, why Bitcoin hasn't been able to recover. Like, subscribe, definitely let me hear your thoughts on what you believe is going on with Bitcoin, why Bitcoin can't just get back up to their highs. And I think I just read something saying that I think it's strategy, that companies that's been buying Bitcoin and diluting shareholders to buy more Bitcoin, I think they said they started to sell some. So I don't know if he has like a huge a huge position, he definitely could affect the price of Bitcoin. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys for the next one.